How are you looking this week?
Looking very good. Shane McCartan's joined back in this week. Jordan Gibson played his part in a game that we organised for Tuesday. So he's come through that okay as well. So yeah, we're getting bodies back. Matty Palmer has joined back in today as well. So he's come through that okay. So yeah, we're getting them back, which is good.
That's a big plus, then, isn't it, Matty Palmer?
Yeah, no, definitely. And he deserves all the credit because his professionalism has been first class in terms of how he's looked after himself and done everything that can possibly do to help him get back as quick as possible.
How's Clayton Donaldson's toe?
He's with the specialist tomorrow, so everyone's got the fingers crossed that he gets given the thumbs up to progress to the next stage. So. On that front, Jamie Devitt we saw on Tuesday as well. He's back out on the grass. We're still at Blackpool, but he's just hopefully getting out on the grass this week and next week. That only leaves, I think, Joe Riley, who's doing ever so well as well.
Kelvin Mellor, how's he after the game?
Yeah, he was a bit sore at the beginning of the week, but again, he's trained with us today and fit and available for selection. And
Jake Reeves as well played in that behind closed doors game, didn't he? So is he in a position to be able to start if you need him?
Well, I mean, we've said all along, it's we've got to keep seeing how he recovers after, we give him each spell of time and each train today. So we'll see how he is after tomorrow, because it's always important once he's played a game that he can do then a day's training afterwards, and it's the next stage of his development. And like I said, we'll pick that one up tomorrow, but he's going the right way, that's for sure, and there's a big smile on his face.
So all in all then, maybe not for this weekend immediately, but you are starting to look a lot healthier, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely, and it's welcome because for some of them it would be like having new signings, Matty Palmer being out for as long as he has done, but they're coming back now, and it provides the competition. After following last weekend, we've regrouped and seen they've been right back at it from Monday, really.
I was going to ask that. What has the reaction been like after the strong words?
They're an honest bunch. I said that all along, and when we showed them the game on Monday, they were, like I say, they just put their hands up and then admitted that the first half performance in particular wasn't to the standard that they'd set. Nothing more was needed to be said after that because of the fact that they recognised that they'd fallen short, and that's a credit to them. That they didn't come out with excuses of this journey, that journey, or anything like that. Just said it was one of those days, and we all have them in what we do.
Yeah, I suppose you can't legislate for that either, can you? If you have two or three having an off day, the levels of the overall team will automatically drop.
Yeah, and like you say, first off, it was all of us, the whole team. But it's the first time that we've said that this season. So that's a measure of the progress that they've made, and now I'm really looking forward to Saturday to see the character of them. When you've been tested and challenged like we have after Saturday's game, and looking for the reaction.
You had opportunities though, didn't you, in the game? Good opportunities to find the back of the net as well. So how do you legislate for that when players just aren't putting the ball in the back of the net?
All you can do is go over it and keep encouraging to getting in those positions. Is when we are not getting into those situations or those positions that your real concern comes in, because then you're not creating anything, but we're still creating stuff, and that's important. I think like I say, for Saturday, for the first half in particular, how we were, the reaction second half was better, and the reaction how they've been all week has been good as well. And so like I say, they're an honest bunch, and they've recognised that last week was not up to the standard. They've put it to bed. We learn from it, and we go again now. You
seem to come across as quite a positive and encouraging character and manager as well. At what point do you make the decision where you have to say, right, no, now's the time to give them a bit of a rocket, a bit of a rollicking, as opposed to the encouragement?
Probably when the second goal went in, to be perfectly honest. But no, you know, I've not really had to do much of that this season, and so for them to have it, like I say, properly for the first time, is not bad considering that was the 17th game of the season. So, like I say, we've all debriefed it. We've all been honest with each other, like we always are, and we're looking forward to now the reaction. And the reaction so far in training this week and in the game on Tuesday has been very good.
Gives you a bit of a license though, doesn't it, to tinker if you want to make a couple of changes if you want to?
If I wanted to, yeah. And then sometimes there's the option to say, well, go on then. You know, we've got to be loyal to them at times and then give them the opportunity to correct what went on last weekend. So we'll see. I'll see how I wake up tomorrow.
You don't have midweek games, obviously, before Christmas. Has that been a benefit to you as well, do you think, this week? Or the other side of that argument is you'd be better to get back out there, wouldn't you, have another game? How do you view it?
I viewed it as good for us because, like I say, we were able then to make arrangements for a game on Tuesday that we could control rather than it being league games and you know, a distance travelling after Saturday. So we were grateful for that. And it also allowed us to get minutes into the lads that, you know, have been on the fringe of it and allow them to stake a case for this weekend.
Yeah, and that's positive for the mood overall, I suppose, isn't it? That you're giving them that game time.
Yeah, definitely. And you're giving them the opportunity to put a case forward. I think the easiest thing in this job as a manager is when somebody knocks on the door and they haven't got any evidence to say why they're not playing in the team. I think that's... You know, whereas with the game on Tuesday that we just had, there were several of them that put performances forward to say, look, you've got to pick me. And then obviously that comes down to me, but at least they're now coming with evidence.
And have they been knocking on your door? Have you had a couple this week?
Not yet, no. But it's only Thursday afternoon, so we'll see.
What do you make to this one at the weekend then? The weather's not great at the moment either. It's set to dry up though over the next 24, 48 hours, so you should be okay this time around against Macclesfield.
Yeah, obviously it's a rearranged one, and so you know we were in a flow of fixtures at that time when it got called off. But I was there at the pitch inspection at 9 o'clock, and there was no way it could got played. So hopefully, you know, that we can get the fixture on this team this time, and you know, like I say, I'm really looking forward to the game, and the players are itching to get back out there now.
And what about them as an outfit, as a side?
Yeah, they're a well-organised team. I've been and watched them a couple of times myself, watched them on the video, and you know, when you've got the situation that they've been through, it brings the group closer together. I've been through it myself a couple of times, and it does. It galvanises the group, and when you watch them, that's what they're doing. They're fighting for each other. They went to Salford last week, kept clean sheets. You know, we know that it's like any team in this league. If we're not at it, then we get what we got last week.
Good stuff. Thank you.
And you say you've got a lot of players that are coming back, and they're all wanting to play games. You're in the situation, though, coming up to Christmas, where you can say there's a lot of games coming up. There will be a chance for you all.
Yeah, there is, but to get to that level, they have to be ready to go in. So that's why, you know, like I say, Tuesday was good for us to top them up because the couple of them had the game against Rochdale as well. So we've got to just keep that, excuse me, those levels ticking along, so that when they do get their opportunity, they're ready to hit the ground running.
Match fitness is a phrase that's used a lot in football by journalists, whatever.
Yeah.
How long do you think it takes to get match fitness from, say, for Jake Reed?
I think it's very difficult to put an actual time and set state that, you know, it's going to be 2 games, it's going to be 3 games because of each individual case. And then obviously you've got some people like Matty Palmer, his fitness levels at the moment, you wouldn't have known he's been out. He's phenomenal. But again, that comes down to how he's looked after himself and how he's been throughout his rehab. So it's very difficult to put a time on it, but the only way to get it is obviously playing games.
And presumably that's, as you say with Matty, one of the things that's really changed in football over the last 30, 40 years is the base fitness level of players?
Yeah, well, I think it is. It's nearly 24/7, 12 months of the year for them, you know. I feel sorry for some of them at the elite level because they don't never seem to get a break. But yeah, that's a part of the way that football's changed and the sports science that has become involved in it now.
Cheers.
You were saying, obviously, the first time really in 17 matches that you felt sort of they've let you down, or they let themselves down in that half.
Let themselves down, yeah.
The fact that obviously you've had a proper go at them, that, do you think that might have had more of an impact, bearing in mind you've not really had to have a, you know...
Oh, we'll certainly find out on Saturday. But, you know, it was... I think you have a gauge for it, don't you? And you have a feel for it. But, like I say... how we were on Saturday and how we were on Monday and how they've been, and speaking to them individually, you know, they were aware of obviously the need to have seen it again and how we've gone about it. But it's one of those, isn't it? We can do all the talking we want and we can build all the games up and managers do all the it comes down to the game, and the talking gets done on the pitch. It's as simple as that. I can say whatever, you know, people want to hear, or ultimately it's down to the players to go and produce, and that'll never change. You know, we'll support them, encourage them, help them as much as we can. But you know, once the whistle blows, you know, it's down to the players.
Do you think there might be some in that dressing room? We haven't seen you angry before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Again, that might have, you know, that's probably sort of...
I didn't say I was angry.
Forceful. And obviously you mentioned Macclesfield, the scenario they're in. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, how do you manage to sort of focus on football when all that, you know, you don't know if you're going to get paid and what have you going on?
Well, I think the manager there is doing a brilliant job with that. You know, the way that if you watch him and how they go about it, he's doing brilliant with it. What he's doing, you know, I don't know. Speaking from experience with the couple of experiences I've had, is the football sometimes just then becomes a relief, and then you really do find out who plays for the love of the game. Do you know what I mean? And I think when you watch them, there's a lot of the Macclesfield lads that are running around for each other and the love of the game, and that's really refreshing to see.
It's just such an unfortunate situation, not of their making.
No, of course not. I think you know, obviously we don't know the ins and outs of it. I think it's a situation where the powers that be shouldn't allow that ever to happen. You know, we've lost one football league club. It should never be in place ever again where that can take place. And so, however they do it, whatever the rules and regs are, they should be in place where there's penalties so that it couldn't happen. You know, it's not fair on the players. It's not fair on the supporters.
Step in, perhaps, at some point to say, look, this is it.
Yeah, they've got to have a look at themselves, haven't they? The EFL, and to say, right, well, how do we go about it? How do we readdress it and put consequences, or, you know, like you say, penalties in there that stop the situation, because it's not right.
And it doesn't reflect well on the league as a whole, does it? When you've seen this, it
doesn't.
Bury
No,
Bolton,
of course,
Macclesfield,
no, 100%.
Oldham, another one.
And apparently there's a lot more. So.
Yeah, it's worrying. And you mentioned Jamie Devitt there. I mean,
Yes.
Obviously, his scenario is probably difficult in the sense that he's obviously recuperating at another club. I mean, how do you sort of monitor that? And
well, the other club obviously is I know the medical team there well, so I've been in dialogue with them, and I've kept in touch with Jamie all along as well. Rightly so. It's Blackpool's player, you know, first and foremost, and they dictate how the rehab goes. And I've kept in constant dialogue with Jamie, and like I say, they've been great with just updating us in terms of each step of his progression. And so I think when he gets closer to getting ready to join back in, he'll come back over here then.
Has he indicated he wants to come back here?
Oh yeah.
Because obviously he's here for the season, but it's one of those where presumably if Blackpool think he's fit enough, then they'll just let that resume.
No, definitely, yeah. And we've not been told otherwise, but no, that's exactly how we see it being played.
Again, that's another one where you've got to keep the player sort of part of it when he literally had 2 games.
2 weeks, I think. Yeah. 2 weeks.
I mean, is that you know?
Got an assist in that time, so.
And there's another part of the job, isn't it? It's probably easy when players aren't in the club. You know, they might think, well, am I going to get remembered? Am I going to still feel part of it? So.
To be fair to him, he knows quite a few of the boys, but he turned up at Morecambe away. He then has been over to one of the other games. It just slips from my memory at the moment. I'm going to say Carlisle. And then he was. We played behind closed doors over at Bolton, and he turned up there. So he's been in regular contact with the lads and obviously myself, and he can't wait to come back.
Again, a bit like with Joe Riley, it's important that player still feels
part
of it,
massive.
They're not out on the pitch.
No, I think it's it's the worst bit of the job is being injured, and especially when it's an operation and it's long term. Until you have actually been through it and experienced it for that length of time out, you don't really understand, because it's a very, very lonely place. But it's really important, and I think our staff, myself, and our players have been really good with everybody that's been out for a length of time. The lads are brilliant with Joe Riley, and. They've been the same with Debs and with Matty Palmer, so and no doubt with Clayton, and they're a real good group for that.
In terms of Jamie, are you still looking at New Year for hopefully?
I think it's difficult to put a time frame on it, because obviously he's got to go over several barriers. But I think initially they were sort of like looking end of Jan, but if it's before then, and then brilliant. But the type of injury that it was as well, you've really got to be careful. Really got to be careful with it, just like we have been with Reevesy. And so, I think it's important that we do follow those steps.